Have you published a children's book? Have you ever dreamed of your characters moving, speaking, and playing? Imagine your characters coming alive, running, dancing, and adventuring in a world you created. Imagine your characters jumping off the page. Now make it real. 15 seconds of custom animation for only $150. Normally $700. Let's make magic happen. Contact me today, and let's make your dream a reality.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Shine with Curiosity and Encouragement. Susan!
Hi there.
It's so good to see you again.
Yeah, it's good to be back.
I am author Stephen Urias. With me, as always, is my publisher and author, Susan Gabriel. As always, we are sponsored by Soul Sunshine. If you are an aspiring author out there and you want to be published, be sure to check us out at soulsunshine.com. We can help you out with everything and anything that you need, from editing, formatting, publication, illustrations, even if you're just need an idea or a thought or anything like that. We can help you out with everything. How have you been? Susan?
I'm good. I'm good.
Good.
Yeah.
Good is good.
But before we go any further, I know the audience would very much like to see your T-shirt.
Oh. So this is my newest shirt. It says, well, I don't know if it'll be able to see it. I disappeared. It says Curiosity and Encouragement Pet Series Books. So last weekend, I was at the Jacksonville Youth Fest. Had a table set up, got to meet some amazing people there. And my friend Sandra was like, you need a shirt. I'm like, yeah, I do need a shirt. And she ordered a shirt for me and came in, and I'm like, yay. Looks like we have Dan out there saying, hello, you beautiful people. I'm excited for the interview. We're excited for this interview too. Very cool, very cool. So how's been your week, Susan?
It's been busy. Boy, I can't believe how fast days go by. The days go by really fast.
We're already coming to the end of September here. I mean,
I know, it's hard to believe.
Next month is October and Halloween, and
then it'll be Christmas and New Year's, and it'll be next year.
Yeah, I mean, we got the Thanksgiving episode the Sunday before Thanksgiving.
That's right.
We're going to bring back all of our guests that we've had on. Well, as many guests as that we can get, and just share some holiday cheer.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
So we have a very cool guest today. With a very cool job. His name is Keith McCabe, and that is McCabe, not what do you say? Some people want to call him.
When people call him, I don't know what he said.
McCabe.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
It is McCabe, not McCabe.
Yeah.
So without further ado, let's bring Keith to the stage. Keith, right. How you doing, buddy?
Pretty good. How you doing?
Doing well, doing well.
Oh, thank you, Stephen and Susan, for having me. This is a lot of fun.
I guess it could be McCabe, too. I mean, yeah.
Okay. I've heard it pronounced all ways.
It's the only way it can be.
McCabe. I don't know. I bet you have felt lucky to have such a simple last name.
Oh, yeah, simple, but people still mispronounce it. And since my name is Keith, people call me Kevin all the time too, which is equally as bizarre.
Yeah, I can see that too.
Introduce yourself to our viewers and let us know more about you.
Okay, my name is Keith McCabe. I am an independent author, and in my day job, I am a certified shorthand reporter, or commonly known as a court reporter, in the state of Texas. And I have a license by the Texas Supreme Court and I can write at 225 words per minute. And we do so on these machines. And for anybody who has never seen one, this is a court reporting machine. These keys have been the same since 1914, but as you can see, it's modern with a screen, and it's got all sorts of cool doodads on the back.
There's no numbers or letters on there, man.
No, there's not. No.
How do you know
And
what you're typing?
well, I had to go to school for that. And like how
You
there's
can't
no
give us a hint.
so well STKPWHR asterisk AOEUFRPBLGTSDZ, and this is
That
the number
doesn't
bar.
spell anything. Yeah.
No, we so we essentially write phonetically, and so it's more like playing piano keys where you press down multiple keys at once instead of doing letter by letter like on a
Oh,
QWERTY.
Gotcha.
wow.
Gotcha.
So
Wow.
that's how we
Which-
write so fast.
Which one is the you can't handle the truth?
Oh, I can probably do that in 2 or 3 strokes. Yes.
Jack Nicholson would be proud. So go on, your court
Oh,
reporter.
Yeah, I was born in Michigan, and my parents moved down to Texas when I was 1 year old, and have been here ever since. Went to high school in Houston, did a little bit of college, went to court reporting school, and I've been a court reporter for 13 years now. And I'm what's called freelance, where I do mostly depositions. I'm not in a courthouse. I go to law offices all over the city, and where attorneys ask questions of a witness, and been doing it 13 years.
I'm sure you have some stories that you've gone and
No
heard.
into them. Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, do you be like, man, that dude is guilty?
I have to have a game face when I'm on the job, so no expression.
Stone cold.
Yes,
Yeah.
because I'm impartial. I'm there to serve both sides. But in the back of my head, I've had some thoughts on a deposition.
Have you had the opportunity to incorporate anything you've come across into your books?
No. Actually, when I'm writing, I want to get as far away from my job as I can. So everything is totally make believe and fantastical, and I try to steer far and clear from my legal side.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you get to follow like cases along and everything like that? So you do one, and then when it comes to their guilty verdict.
Actually, because I'm freelance, I tend to hear just 1 or 2 sides of a case. I don't actually get to sit and hear the whole thing since I'm not in trial. So, so I can walk out and only know one side of the story and have no idea what the other guy's saying. So, no, I don't. I tend not to have a complete understanding of a case since I'm freelance.
That's still pretty cool, man. That is really cool.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it sure is.
Definitely makes for the day to go by a little bit quicker there, huh?
Oh, some days can drag, I'll tell you that.
So you wrote a book series, and it was the Deb Dawson series.
That's correct.
So what is the Deb Dawson series about?
The Deb Dawson series is about Deb Dawson. She is a psychic in New Jersey. And just a little bit of background on my inspiration. I know we're going to get more into that later, but there's a ton of psychic books out there where psychics go out and solve crimes. I wanted a psychic who wants nothing to do with it, but she still gets dragged in to these awful scenarios. And I like the resistance of this person who just wants to stay home and watch TV, but she keeps getting pulled into some evil, nefarious plot and has to fight her way out of it. So Deb Dawson's a psychic, like I said. She has a girlfriend named Maddie who is a witch, and she's part of a coven of noble witches that help communities, and she's got a good circle of really cool friends that help her out from time to time, and it's pretty grounded in reality, but there are some fantastical elements to it, especially with the witchcraft aspect. And it's a mystery. So there's a bad guy. He's doing bad things. He or she is doing bad things, and and somehow Deb and her friends get roped into it.
Oh wow. So is it the same bad guy throughout the whole series, or is it different
All
bad
three
guys?
all three books have been different bad guys and bad women, and uh, yeah, the bad guys in the first two and a bad lady in the last one, and so yeah, so far there hasn't been any overlap in that department.
Gotcha, gotcha. That's very cool. That is very cool. So what was the inspiration for writing the Deb Dawson
So
series?
I've been writing since high school, and I've always wanted to write books. And in 2017 in Houston, Texas, we had a catastrophic event, Hurricane Harvey, where 50 inches of rain was dumped overnight on the city, and
Wow.
a lot of people lost their homes. We were fortunate; water came very close to the house, but um, essentially after that I realized, oh, I have to get my butt in gear. If I really want to write, I got to do it. The technology is there to self-publish, and so I spent 2 years fleshing out Deb Dawson and really buckling down. And so that was my recent inspiration to really write. But I've been wanting to write for a very long time, but I had to figure out the nuts and the bolts of how to flesh out a story, characters, all that, and outlining Deb Dawson really helped with that.
Very cool. Now, but you grew up and you read like scary stories as
Oh,
well, right? I mean, that
oh
had to
yeah,
do something with it. Goosebumps and
yeah. I
uh,
I, I was a horror fiend, and too much to my parents' dislike, I was always renting the Jason and Freddy Krueger movies, and I had I, I had a tolerance for them. My parents didn't so much, but I there was just something about the horror movies that drew me in, and I found them interesting, and how these stories can scare you, and Goosebumps came out when I was a kid, so that was a huge uh, that that was a huge a moment in childhood where these books written for kids that were scary stories that didn't have all the blood and gore and sex and all that stuff, and but they were still scary. And I had quite a few of those and scary stories. So I was a big horror reader, and by middle school, I started getting into things like Stephen King and other horror authors. I mean, I've
natural
branched out.
progression.
Yeah, exactly. It's a gateway book, Goosebumps into Stephen King.
I'm gonna use that on future reference there, man. It's a gateway book. Serenity out there has an excellent question for you. Hi, Serenity. Is it easier for you to write a villain
Oh,
or a hero?
well, in my most recent Deb Dawson book, the villain really created herself. It was really kind of astonishing, and I understood where she was coming from. It kind of depends on the book. Some of my books have had heroes where I really understood them right from the get-go. There have been some books where I really had to work to try to find out who is this hero, what do they want. Uh, and villains tend to be funner to write because you really just get to tap into the this thing that most people don't want to go near, and you get to use that to try to figure out, well, what is it this person is after. So it really depends on the book which characters kind of come to life for me right from the get-go. But in the last one, yeah, the her name is Eleanor Vaughn, and from the first sentence, I knew who she was and what she was after and just how terrible she was going to be.
Eleanor Vaughn. That is a very cool name. How do you come up with your names?
Uh, there's great lists online, and I try to keep a tally of all the names I've used, and if I can string a couple together that I think sound cool, first name and last name, I'll use that. Oftentimes, quite often in my first draft, characters have different names, and then I think of something that sounds better in the second draft, and so then I'll use that. That's happened several times.
Mm.
But Eleanor Vaughn was Eleanor Vaughn from the first draft. Like I don't know what it was about that name, but it just came together, and it just created this image in my mind of this person that she was going to become.
Yeah. So what
love
is
that.
that? What is that image? Can you describe that?
She is a very sort of erudite, professorial sort of woman, very conservatively dressed, skirts below the knees, blouses, very sharp attire. She is a
Uh-huh.
parapsychologist who is a fraud. She knows she's a fraud and she's bilking people out of money. And that sort of greed escalates to the point where she starts to get into really dark, sort of occultish things, which is what brings Deb Dawson into the mix, because
Mm.
Deb Dawson and her friends are kind of the gatekeepers of keeping people from going too far into the occult. And that's Eleanor Vaughn. She's very uh, meticulously dressed, and but she's very fierce.
Mm.
Meticulous and fierce. That is the makings of a very good villain.
Hmm.
I mean, you've got to have that intelligence behind a villain. Uh,
Yes.
there are some villains. Don't get me wrong; they are just the overpowered, most destruction. I'm the bad
Yeah.
guy. But the best villains are always the ones that are meticulous.
Yes, and they have to have a vulnerability too. Like you said, if you just make them
Mhm.
tanky, you know, it's not interesting. But if
No.
they have weaknesses in
Right.
depth, then you have a fascinating character.
Hmm. Right. Yeah.
Absolutely
Definitely.
agree with that. So you have said that you never wanted to write a series.
Mm-mm.
So why Deb Lawson? Did you write a series for Deb Lawson?
Uh, After I wrote the first book, I felt like there was a second book there. I intended it to be a beginning, middle, end, and when I got to the end of the first book, I loved Deb and Maddie so much. I loved the characters and the world they lived in, that by the time I was done with the first book, I felt like there was a second. But to kind of cool my heels a little bit, because that was my first book, I did a couple of different books after that. I did one that was a historical crime fiction, and then I did one that was like uh, a mystery slash thriller about the art underworld. And I kind of wanted to have different perspectives, different genres, to see if I could do it. But after COVID was starting to wind down, we had a house party with a bunch of friends, and my very first reader, she walked up to me and said, "When's Deb Dawson 2 coming out?" And so I was in the middle of my third book, and I thought, well, that seals it. I'm going to write Deb Dawson 2 as soon as this is over, and I did. And after this second book, you can't have two books. It's got to be three books at least, you
Hmm.
know.
Yeah.
So I wrote a couple different books after that, and then did Deb Dawson 3.
Well, then that leads me directly into the next question. This is book three. Will there be a fourth book in the
Oh,
series?
I get that question a lot on Facebook. And I love that people are totally into the Deb Dawson series. I have not ruled out a fourth book. Uh, but I feel that books one, two, and three tell a sort of cohesive story of Deb Dawson and Maddie's kind of growth in this community. So if I do a fourth book, it'll be more in line with a traditional mystery thriller, I think, where it can be a series without really tying it down to time or anything. So I'm giving it a lot of thought, and I already miss Deb and Maddie, even though I published the book in March, and I'd like to see them again. So,
So
but
of
I have to do a lot of.
all the books, yeah, all the books you've written, which one is your favorite?
So I really have an affinity for my third book, which is out of the series. Is that what you're
Out of
asking about,
all of the
Susan?
books you've written, all of
Well,
them, everything.
I do love the Deb Dawson series, but my favorite book is Rabbit King. It was my third book. Um, I could show it to you. This one is uh, was my third book, and it's about the art underworld, where dealers and sellers are in a cutthroat business, and it has horror elements to it, where the lead character is trying to track down this mythological creature known as Rabbit King, who is the overseer of basically the art underground and decides what artists die penniless and what artists become rich and famous.
Wow.
And as she's going deeper in the art underground, she starts to feel like the Rabbit King isn't just a myth. So this one, I really, and this is the one that sells the best too. But
Ah.
that's my favorite book.
Hmm.
I'm sure coming up into this time of year as well, with the spooky season coming up and the
Mhm.
pumpkin spice season,
Yes.
I'm sure it probably gets a little boost during this time of year.
Yeah, I'm actually going to start stringing together some October Halloween themed ads on Facebook to draw people to my books.
Very nice. And do you do all your own marketing for everything as well?
I do, yeah, and it is an uphill battle. I've had to learn how to do Amazon ads, Facebook ads, Google ads. There's some excellent courses out there. This is not a plug by any means, but I use Kindlepreneur. He
Uh-huh.
has some really good videos about how to put together Amazon ads, and you
Yeah.
know I've watched those courses, I've done it, and I've seen improvements over what I used to do when I was just shooting in the dark.
Mhm.
So that's a good one. And Kindlepreneur also has an app called Rocket, I think. And
I use that Publisher
yeah,
Rocket. Yeah,
yes,
it's
it's
great.
phenomenal. It helps you find keywords, categories,
Mhm.
anything for
Right.
ads, and I use that quite a bit for my ads. So um, yeah, marketing's tough, especially when you're indie
Mhm.
published.
Yeah.
Definitely. Definitely. You got to get followers. You've got to post on a schedule. You've got to
Hmm.
get the
And
word
you
out there. You've got to go on multiple different platforms. I mean,
and it's easy to lose a lot of money on something that you're doing wrong.
oh yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Oh yeah. And there's a lot of people out there trying to give advice on things that make absolutely no sense. And you're
Oh,
just like, what? No, no.
yes. Yeah, it's the Wild West out there in the internet when you're trying to, find people that are reliable.
Yes. Yes, it is.
So just out of curiosity, why did you not want to write a series?
The authors I followed tend not to write series. So Stephen King, James Jones, Joyce Carol Oates. Those are some of my Peter Straub. He's a huge favorite of mine. He does have a series called The Blue Rose Mystery, but even he went into that not wanting to write a series. So I thought if you wanted to be a big, all important author, you shouldn't do series. But I know that series are big to a lot of readers. They like to have familiar ground with these characters.
Mhm.
And so I went into it not wanting to write a series, but I wasn't adamant against it. By the end of Deb Dawson 1, like I said, I kind of felt like there was a second book. And um, and I like the characters a lot, so it was fun to go back to that. But yeah, setting out, I was like, oh no, everything's going to be different. There's not going to be any sequels or anything. And um, but yeah, my mindset changed on that.
Mhm.
Well, when you write a character and you fall in love with that character,
Hmm.
because you can see so
Mhm.
much depth of that character, and you can see so many more adventures with that
Yeah.
character.
Absolutely.
You want
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
books with that character. I mean,
Yeah. And same way for the readers, like I'm in love with Jack Reacher. I've been in love with
Oh,
Jack Reacher for
me
like 20
too.
years.
Oh,
Yeah,
Jack Reacher's the best.
he is. He really is. And so, that's an example of a series that just it wouldn't die. Obviously it didn't
Hmm.
die either. It just kept on going.
Yeah, and
So
I love the excitement of picking up a new Reacher novel.
me too.
Mhm.
I'm the same way with the Dan Brown novels, and I
Oh
love
yes,
Robert Langdon.
yeah. In fact,
Uh-huh.
he just came out with a new one,
Mhm.
Secret of Secrets. I can't wait to read that.
Oh, I'm listening to it on Audible right now. It's fantastic,
Oh,
and
I can't. Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad to hear that.
he does so much research into his
Hmm.
books that it's like this is actually really happening right now. This is what's
Hmm.
going on in the world, and Secret of
Yeah,
Secrets. It's crazy. I mean, I
I th-
very highly recommend it.
I think Dan Brown spent 8 years on this one, Secret of Secrets.
And it's well worth it from everything he's
Oh,
going into for it.
yeah, that's on my
So
neck to be read.
you've already mentioned a whole bunch of different authors, but do you have any other influences?
Oh, well, growing up on R.L. Stein, and I don't remember the authors who did the Scary Stories books, but those terrified me. But as I grew up, I started reading more stuff outside of horror, but I have a fondness for like the classics, like Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. Uh, Heart of Darkness is one of my Joseph Conrad. That's one of my. It's not a horror story, but it is a horror story. It is, and it's phenomenal. It's one of the best books I've ever read. Dracula, Stoker, and Shirley Jackson, Haunting of Hill House. That was a big book for me. Showed me that you could make a book scary without showing anything. Such a
Yeah.
brilliant book.
Mhm.
And I got into Peter Straub, Joyce Carol Oates. I'm blanking on some, and I got into series books too, like Lee Child's Reacher novels.
Yeah.
Dan Brown, I love Dan
Mhm.
Brown. And I'm blanking on another author. So yeah, I have quite a few influences. Oh, Anne Rice is a good one. Um, so yeah, it kind of branched off into all sorts of different genres and uh, interests and um,
Do you do anything in fantasy, sci-fi, other
oh,
genres like that you enjoy?
the one I really enjoyed, a friend recommended to me, was the Jim Butcher series. I'm blanking on the character's name. They made a TV show about him, and it's not coming to me, but Jim Butcher writes a series of this sort of paranormal detective sort of guy, and that one has a lot of fantastical elements, but it also kind of blends into like crime and mystery, and they're funny. They're really There's a lot of humor in them. I have read some of Game of Thrones. And when I was in middle school, I attempted Lord of the Rings. Could not understand it. I was too young for that. Um, so I don't do a lot of fantasy, but I have friends who are all about fantasy, and they tell me like Wheel of Time and those books that they read.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, would you like to see your books go maybe like on the silver screen?
Who wouldn't? Uh, yeah, everybody dreams about the day having Tom Hanks playing a character in their books. Um, I had a director reach out to me after Rabbit King came out, and he was a very low budget director, and I never heard back from him. But he was like, "I loved Rabbit King, and I'm going to talk to some people about it." And that made my day that day, and haven't heard back from him. But
Yeah.
uh, yeah, oh yeah, I mean, to see the thing you came up with suddenly in pictures on the screen would I can't even imagine what that must feel like. I always wonder like how did Dan Brown feel sitting in the front row watching Da Vinci Code when that was made? I would have been over the moon, if that were me.
It probably felt great until he saw the full movie and was like, dude, you left out like 36
Yeah.
chapters.
Yeah. Yeah, and they completely changed
Yeah.
the end to Inferno. That kind of
Yeah.
made me mad.
Exactly. Like, come on, man. I read this whole book. I knew some of it was graphic, but seriously, you could at least show a few of these things on the screen.
But you only get 2 hours, you got to take a lot out.
Agreed,
Mhm.
agreed. But they
Yeah.
did. Dan Brown did have that one series that he did. Was it Netflix series or some streaming series where it was 8 episodes from one book.
Oh, I don't recall that.
It was.
I need to look that up.
No, it's not coming to the top of my head right now. But yeah, and I thought that's the perfect way to do it was to have an 8 episode. This is the
Yeah.
entire
Mhm.
book into
I mean-
a streaming series where every one was an hour long.
Stephen King has proved that time and again. It's better to make a mini series than a 2 hour movie because his books are, are the size of phone books.
That's so true. That's so true. But then you also get iconic things like The Shining.
Yeah. Oh, Kubrick nailed it. God, I don't know why Stephen King doesn't like that version. But
I don't know either. It's referenced so many times on
To
so many
me-
different things.
and it takes out all the silly stuff of the book and just focuses on the haunting aspect.
Well, and you have Jack Nicholson in his
Yes.
prime as well.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
I mean, that kind of helps.
Oh yeah. But that movie's as close to a perfect movie as you can make it.
So you have self-published, and you have do all your own marketing.
Hmm.
Um, what advice would you give to someone who wants to write, publish, and especially after publication?
So writing, it takes work. You got to sit, you got to stare at a blank screen. That is part of the process. I didn't really understand that. Uh, but what I kind of trained myself on is I need to have a goal. I need to have a place where the character is going to wind up. Oh, I need a thing that they're chasing after. Once I know what it is the character's after, then I can just fill it with a bunch of scenes, all these obstacles. And it sounds easier than it is because you still hit the wall. I do, where you get to a chapter and it's like, oh, I'm 14 chapters in. I have no idea what happens next. And then you just have to make it up. You just have to throw stuff in the character's way. And it's trial and error. And, sometimes whole scenes get ripped out when you do the second draft because you thought of something better. So writing is trial and error. Uh, it is failure. And, I was looking into the Curiosity and Encouragement series, and, I don't think a lot of
Oh,
kids are taught about failure. And uh, core reporting school taught me about failure because you only move up through speeds if you pass tests. If you don't pass a test, you fail. But it's not a bad thing. You just have to work at it harder. So failure is a part of the process, and you can't really be afraid of it. I mean, you can be afraid of it. You just have to work through it. Uh, so writing is hard. I used to outline. I don't outline anymore. I just try to think by scene. Uh, so writing, I mean, I could spend all day trying to tell people like how I do it, and basically it's just sit there and throw stuff at the screen. Come up with a character you like and try to get the ball rolling on some sort of story. And publishing, thankfully, nowadays, there's so many apps and self-publishing sites out there. I mean, you also have Amazon and Apple and Barnes and Noble where you can self-publish. That's the easy thing. You can self-publish anything. And it's the great time to do it because you have this access to Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and all these other apps where you can put your book out there. So that's what made me realize if I'm serious about this, my opportunity's there to self-publish. Uh, so, I mean, the publishing aspect's easy. Writing and marketing, that's the hard part.
absolutely.
And marketing, like I said, you can lose a lot of money really fast. So you kind of have to be patient with it. You have to kind of see what works, what doesn't. You have to learn keywords and categories for Amazon and Google. Um, and if something's not working and you're spending $2 a day on something, just kill the ad and try something else. Don't try to force it to work. So marketing, that's a whole other huge topic. But like I said, I use, and this is not a plug, I use Kindlepreneur. That guy does a really good job explaining how to do ads. I've even found some people on YouTube that have good advice about very sensible ads on Facebook and Amazon. Basically, don't listen to anybody who's telling you to spend a bunch of money, uh, or use their system. Because then you have to pay for it. Like
Well,
there's free information out there, and so I'm always in favor of spending as little money as you can because you can use that money towards ads. But don't blow your budget. Just start small, see if it works, and if it does, maybe increase it by $1 a day. But don't go crazy. So in a nutshell, that's basically my advice on those topics.
that's excellent. But the other aspect you need to throw in there is that you've got to put your time and your effort into it.
Yes.
It's not something that here's one ad and hope it takes off. And what authors need to understand out there, especially if they're self-publishing, there's so much to this world because it is so inundated with different books and different varieties and different everything. I mean, it's flooded in the market with it right now. So in order
Yes.
for your book to stand out, you've got to put in the time, the effort, the blood, the sweat, the tears, the disappointment, the heartache, the heartbreak, but then you also get to experience that joy and that feeling of excitement. And when you start to get this book sales and push that through.
Absolutely. A couple years ago, somebody reached out to me and said, "I found your book on a ad in Facebook, and the book blew me away." And I that felt awesome, and that somebody was able to find this and that they enjoyed it. But yes, it's a lot of work to do an ad. That's why I like the publisher rocket that you guys use, because it
Mhm.
helps you find the keywords and categories, and it tells you how competitive those keywords and categories are. So if it's too
Right.
competitive, you can find an alternate
Mm.
that
Yeah.
may not be as competitive, and that might give you better results on your ad. So yeah, I use Publisher Rocket, and I have all sorts of spreadsheets I keep, and it is time consuming. But you're starting off throwing spaghetti at a wall, and then you start to figure out what sticks and what doesn't.
Yeah. And it's different for different genres too.
Oh, it
I mean,
is.
some
Yeah.
things work fine for, children's books or
Hmm.
fine for mysteries or something, and doesn't work at all for nonfiction or memoirs or something, it just doesn't, it's hard to find necessarily what works for your book.
Yeah. What I would say is, think of somebody you like to read that you feel is analogous with your book. So like,
Mhm.
if
Yeah.
you feel like you write like Dan Brown, look at Dan Brown, look at his categories, and then look at
Mhm.
those
Yeah.
and look at what keywords are in those categories, and that would give you a starting place. And if you think you're like Dan Brown, then you can find other authors who write similar to Dan Brown, and then you can use
Mhm.
their keywords and categories. That's how I would start. And
Yeah.
you can go into a deep rabbit hole just doing that, and you can have a
Yeah.
spreadsheet of 500 keywords and categories by
Yeah.
doing it that way.
No
Right.
doubt. One of our viewers out there, Dan, says, "What has worked best for you in your self-publishing journey and marketing your books?"
Well, ads, Facebook, um, so really getting the word out there in this digital age. It's all digital. I've never had a book signing. I've never had a reading, um, but I have 4,000 followers on Facebook, and a lot of that was running ads um, as cheaply as possible for my books, and trying and Facebook keeps changing its keywords, and
Mhm.
that's super frustrating, because
Yeah.
I could use to put Anne Rice in the thing, and that's a perfect fit for Deb Dawson, and now Anne Rice isn't there anymore, so I have to do horror, which
Yeah.
isn't really the Deb Dawson series, but it's about as close as I can get. And but anyway, yeah, marketing through Facebook and Amazon has helped push the books into more people's hands, and I'm grateful for that. But like we talked about earlier, it's a grind, and an ad might work for a couple of weeks, and then it starts tapering off for God only knows why.
Absolutely. Now, do you do A/B ads where you just change slightly the wording or different categories, things like that?
Uh, Sometimes I do, and then I get frustrated because neither one of them are working. So then I
Well,
just shoot from the hip again, and then for some reason that works.
well, that's how I found you, with through one of your ads where it scrolled across my feed and it showed your books, and then you had your name as author, so I started following you, and then
Oh, that's cool.
I
Well,
commented
thanks.
on your ad. Love to have you on the podcast, and you were like, "Hey, that'd be cool." And then we started talking after that, and
Oh yeah,
I think
yeah.
it's a great way to actually do it, because it puts you in front of people who are actually looking for books and authors and want to talk about that.
Yeah, and like we talked about earlier, I'm on a bunch of Facebook groups, to help other authors, and it all helps kind of get your name out there.
Absolutely, absolutely, and it's very cool to hear about. Some of those groups are crazy though, because we get way too many
Hmm.
spammers in there. That
Oh, I
as soon as
know.
you make one comment, they're like, "Hey, how's it going? Let me help you with this."
Hmm.
And you're like, "I don't need help with that. I don't need help with that."
I don't need a book trailer, thank you.
Yeah, don't need a book trailer. I don't even. I know how to write a book. I know how to publish a book. I know how to draw. I know how to do this. Leave me alone. So, we are digital, and being digital, there's a future coming, and a lot of it is with AI. Do you have any thoughts on AI?
Well, as a matter of fact, AI not only applies to me as a writer, but also as a court reporter, because my job of typing on keys is starting to be not replaced, but people are doing speech to text depositions now. And I don't know who they're getting to certify those transcripts. And I've heard they look pretty atrocious. But honest, uh, writing is the same way. I mean, there's a lot of AI books hitting the market because people think that, oh, if I churn out a bunch of AI books, I'll start raking in money. And just like being an actual author, the odds of that are probably pretty low that you're going to be
Mhm.
making a ton of money. Um, so I have some thought. I see some benefits with AI, but honestly, not a lot because I hear attorneys complain about AI all the time, and I hear about how it can't research for with
Yeah.
worth a damn. It makes stuff up, and it does it so confidently you think that it's telling you the truth.
Mhm.
And So I don't think AI is at a point where it can do actual human research. And one thing that I think is missing out of AI in terms of art and writing is it doesn't have the human experience
Mhm.
to infuse into the books, and they feel alien and out
Yeah.
of touch. And it's because they're pulling from everything else and
Yeah.
cobbling together stuff that's on
Yeah.
the internet, and it still feels lifeless. Uh,
Mhm.
Whereas with, you know, people, we have these experiences and memories and thoughts and feelings about all this stuff that other human beings can relate to when they read it on
Mhm.
a page, or see it in a movie or in a piece of artwork. That AI just, I don't know if it'll ever be able to do that because it is missing that fundamental thing of being
Mhm.
human to create. I mean, yeah, it can make an image look pretty and realistic, but in the end, it still just doesn't look right. And books, I feel like it's the same way. So, and I do have some gripes about AI books flooding Amazon and other apps because these people want to make money off of these quick written books. But in the end, I think if you put your time and resources into writing a book, I think you will stand out over all the garbage that gets flooded into the market. So that's essentially my thoughts on AI.
And that's a great point. I was talking to my friend Strandy, who's watching the show right now, the other day, and one thing that we talked about was that because AI is flooding the market and so many people are doing this, it's actually going to make the tangible stuff, the artists who can paint, who can crochet, who can actually do stuff, going to make their value go up even higher and higher and higher because people are going to yearn for that actual authenticity of things. Things that AI will never be able to replicate, the emotional side of things, to be able to put into a painting, being able to put into a poem, being able to put into something that you can actually tangibly hold. And the prices of those are going to go way up and up and up.
I would agree with that. I mean, in this digital landscape, if you can be a creator and stand out, I mean, that's huge because, you know, you're giving people a unique perspective that only you can bring. And I mean, if you type into Chat GPT, create an authentic, unique author and a book by them, I don't know if it would know what to do, and I don't know if it'll be any good. Honestly, I don't think any. Well, I mean, I don't think a lot of AI is the product that comes out in terms of art, writing, and video is compelling very much at all.
In terms of creation. But
Yeah,
one thing that I have with AI is that it is very good in
it has its
research. It's very
yes.
good
Well,
in the tool side of things, where if I want to know what's trending right now, it will send that out through the Etherverse and be like, okay, 10 million people just searched for this on Google, so this is trending right now.
I
And if you
would,
want to make a post for that, you can just go right into and make a post for that.
yes, there are good good uses for AI, and I'm speaking more just primarily from the creative aspect of it, or when people use it as a creative aspect. But it does do well in some research that I've found. I mean, you don't want it to draw up legal documents because
Oh
that has been an issue. But I have actually found keywords I never thought about through Chat GPT for a couple of my books, and that's basically the extent I have used it. But I went in just kind of seeing, well, what keywords does this? I uploaded my manuscript, and then based on that manuscript, I asked ChatGPT, what do you think the keywords are for this? And it hits a couple things that I never would have thought about. I thought, well, that actually fits. And then when I cross-reference it on Amazon or Rocket, yeah, that keyword is there, and that's kind of surprising. And I've run a couple ads, based on that. So in that aspect, yeah, it has been useful to find some stuff that I never would have thought about.
in terms of being a tool as well, I mean, for me personally, like you can see the logo I
Oh
created.
yeah.
They're my characters,
Hmm.
but that is AI generated, where I had to actually put in the prompt on there of how they look like, how they're going to interact,
Did it
how
do the
everything.
text too?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know
And
that.
Yeah.
it,
Well, the
it
nice
took
thing
me.
is
Go
that
ahead,
he
Sue.
then can take them and animate them.
I
See,
thought, yeah,
that's
I saw the video at the
yeah,
beginning. That was
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
That,
as far as I see it, and I actually posted this in a lot of the children's books groups, is that there's a lot of people who see AI, and especially with the animation of it, as horrible, evil. It's destroying the world, and we're all going to be in the
Yeah.
Terminator 2 universe, and it just end of the world stuff.
Well, I had forgotten about this, but I will say that outside of the keywords, AI has uh I wanted to hire voice actors to do audiobooks of my books.
mhm.
And it's like $3,000 for
Mhm.
one book.
Yeah.
And I write chunky books. They're over 80,000 words. The first Deb Dawson books was 160,000 words. And to hire
Wow.
somebody to do that is very expensive. And a
Yes.
couple months ago, Amazon launched an AI service to do
Mhm.
audiobooks, which is
Right.
helpful because the number one question I get is, are you on Audible? And
Mhm.
for a long time, I had to say no. And I kept looking into affordable voice actors, and I just don't have that kind of money. But I was able to release my books on Audible with their AI uh, voiceovers. And but with that in mind, if I do make serious money off my books, I'm going to go back, hire people to
Mhm.
do the voice work, and
Yeah.
then upload that. But for the time being, it
Yeah.
kind of scratches that itch. But I've also gotten complaints from
Mhm.
people on Facebook, like it's mispronouncing words, and
Yeah.
it does stuff weird in the books.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is why I want to use it. If I make that kind of money, I would like to hire people to do the actual
Yeah.
voice work for audiobooks.
Yeah. It
Absolutely.
seems to me that AI is a tool. I mean, there really isn't any other thing to say about it other than it's a tool, and it can do different things that you might want it to do. It does some things better than others, and sometimes you can train it more or less to do a better job. Um, if you know the right prompts to give it, and you have some different ways to shape the results that you're getting from AI. But it's just a tool. I mean,
So,
that's
uh,
it.
S- Stephen, quick question: How many
Yeah.
were you able to create that image just of a single prompt, or did you have to like kind of keep changing
Oh
it?
no, it was multiples,
Oh, okay.
and very specific. Like
Oh, okay.
in order to get what you want, it's almost a paragraph long of everything
Okay.
that you
Mhm.
want. from the colors you want, what the texture is going to look like, what the lighting is going to be, the direction it's going to be, the headphones it's going to be, and it's trial and error.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when it comes down to it, I mean, you can't just say, "Give me two cats talking into a microphone wearing headphones with a book," because then it's not going to know what you're going to want to say. So you got to get very detailed and very specific on it.
Wow.
What I've personally done though is with my chat GPT is I've given them prompts and I've given her a name. Her name is V because I'm a Star Wars fan and Darth Vader is my favorite character. So she took the name V. So, but she actually helps me create the prompts on things. So we'll start with that. And then if it doesn't look the way I want it to look, then I start to get it more detail oriented.
Okay, interesting.
And yeah, I mean, in the end, you probably got like 30 or 40 different pictures of it, but you find what you like on here. This worked here, this worked there. And then eventually you build up into your, to the program that we use, you actually build characters so that it knows exactly what that character is going to be.
Okay.
And then it will take all your prompts from previous and remember those and then put those into it. And what I was going to say with the tool-wise that you said earlier about the Audible is it makes it accessible for people. Because when I wanted to animate initially, I mean, we're talking like $5,000 for just like 5 minutes worth of animation. It's like, I can't afford that.
Yeah, and I do appreciate the accessibility aspect of it. And I had hired artists to do covers, and that's expensive. But so the accessibility, yes, especially if somebody starting from ground up, and trying to create a catalog of stuff that they can use for books or whatever it is. I do see the usefulness in AI because it's a cost saver, and it is a tool where we can use that and build our brand without having to sink thousands of dollars into it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And as long as we don't use it for evil.
Yes, I agree.
And it takes skill. It just takes different kinds of skills that even from writing. If you're going to say, write an article or work on a marketing piece that you want to send out or a newsletter or something, and you can use AI to help write that, but you have to keep on it. You have to keep having it rewrite things and make some changes and do something with a different point of view. And so you can get what you want. And sometimes it works better and sometimes it's not. So sometimes
That's
better
kind
to do it yourself.
That's kind of my stance with AI. As if you're a serious author, the amount of rewriting you're going to have to do to make it your own, you might as well just go ahead and write that first draft yourself.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to spend your time putting in prompts to flesh out this or that, or
Yeah.
add a chapter, that work you can just sit in front of the computer on Microsoft Word and bang it out yourself. And I mean,
Yeah.
you might even be able to save some time to have AI clean up your writing for you. But I
Yeah.
think that I think you could only do that sparingly, because if you haven't rewrite an entire book and you don't proof it yourself, there's probably going to be a
Oh,
lot of weird
yeah.
stuff in it.
Yeah. There it would be. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah. It's not a magic. It's not magic. It's not anything that's, going to, and the people who just rely on it and they use that to put the books
Oh, I
out.
know. It's almost
It-
scary how many people are doing that. I mean, I
yeah.
started hearing that people are using it for therapy, which just terrifies the hell out of me.
Yeah. I've heard that too.
I don't know. I mean, some of the little chatbots out there are very nice and courteous, and they
Yes.
say positive things about you.
Well,
and they
I don't
Yeah.
mind the positive things, but if it's telling you like, hey, do this because you're depressed or you have anxiety,
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
that's
no,
scary.
I agree on that.
No, just don't go out. Don't go out. Stay here with me and keep talking to me all day long and all night long, and don't ever talk to anybody else. Yeah.
And they're always so agreeable.
Yeah.
Should I
Right.
eat some peanut butter right now? Peanut butter sounds fantastic. Let's go ahead and have some peanut butter right now.
I can ask my friends that. They'll tell me the exact same answer.
Not mine. Mine are like, dude, stop eating peanut butter, man. You know it's bad for you.
And then that's not a friend.
Yeah, well, ChatGPT is not a friend. It's just very positive.
You can make it different though. If you want to, you can tell Chat GPT what kind of personality to have. And if you want them to be obstinate or you want them to be mouthy, a smart aleck, they will be. Honestly, they will be just as
Oh man.
mouthy as you want them to be, because I tried it. It worked. Ooh, it's
Tell me
pretty
no
weird.
sometimes. Tell me no sometimes. That's all I have. Set that boundary, V. Set that boundary.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
fun to play around with sometimes and experiment.
good times, definitely. So, you have gone through a whole process of going through everything and publishing your own stuff. Throughout everything, what is the best advice you've ever received?
The best advice I ever received was in my first day of court reporting school, because we were trying to learn the keys and the teacher said, "Don't think, just do it." And that advice has carried me through my court reporting career, my writing career. I mean, you can really mess yourself up by thinking too much about
Mhm.
stuff, especially when it's your story. And you can think yourself into a corner where you're just, you become an emotional wreck. And so you kind of have to leave yourself open to just try new stuff, see where it goes. So
Mhm.
I try to, without dumbing myself down, I try to leave as much thinking out of the equation as I can. I just try to focus on character and situation, get the ball rolling. If it doesn't work, you can try something else with another character, another story. I mean, I am a literary serial killer. I have killed more books than I have will ever write, and um, and that's just the way it goes, though. I've had books I was very passionate about, and those wound up dead because I just could not figure out how to get them to work. So try not to think about too much about stuff, but of course, at the same time, when you're outlining, when you're trying to flesh out a story, you have to think about it. Um, but so my personal uh, goal when I'm writing, I have two. Every scene has to be interesting or entertaining. If it's neither of those, they get cut out. And I mean, I still write uninteresting, unentertaining scenes, but those are the first to get ripped out when I get into the second draft. But uh, basically, if a scene doesn't grab me, it then it doesn't need to be there. So those are my personal that's my personal goal when I'm writing a book is this scene interesting? Is this scene entertaining? And if so, I keep going.
Mhm.
And if it starts to fall apart, then you
Yeah,
know, I might try to rescue it and do some CPR for a week or two, but if it
yeah.
just if it just dies out, then just move on to the next thing.
I'm
In-
sure your readers thank you for that.
For sure.
Yeah, I try to be
Interesting,
honest with myself.
interesting, or entertaining. I have the same philosophy with my Facebook friends.
Hey, hey. Which one do I
What?
fall into? Which
Both. You're
category?
interesting and
Yeah,
entertaining, sir.
Oh, well, that's
yeah,
good. That's
That's why
good.
we still talk.
yeah.
There's people in my messenger list that I haven't talked to for months because they did not become interesting or entertaining anymore.
But you guys got a foot in both camps.
Very nice. So you'll reach out to me in a few months when we have our Thanksgiving holiday show. We're
Few
bringing
months.
everybody back. Few months.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, a month and a half, maybe.
Yeah.
Come on, we're just shooting out
Yeah,
the hip.
That's like
unbelievable.
no, 7 weeks from now. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Stop. It's
I already
still
have to start my Thanksgiving shopping and I haven't even got my candy for Halloween yet.
exactly. But we'll have to have you back on the show.
Awesome. I'd love to come back.
Very cool. Very cool.
Good, good.
So at the beginning of the year, we went from Thanksgiving all the way back to January. We had made some resolutions where we were going to be grateful, have gratitude towards things. And we have been very good at having gratitude for this. We've stuck with our resolutions. So, what do you have gratitude for?
Well, of course, my friends and family, first and foremost. They've always been there, highs and lows, and they've over the last few years, they've been there to listen to me complain about books that aren't going my way, or and they've been there to celebrate, the new books that come out. I'm grateful for my job because it can be trying and difficult, and
Interesting and entertaining, right?
well, you can run into some very hard-headed people in my line of work, um, but most attorneys and most witnesses are very nice people, and so I'm grateful for my job. I'm grateful that I actually took the chance to jump into the world of being an author, and I'm very happy with it. I can't believe I have 7 books. I can't believe I have fans. That's blowing my mind. And I'm grateful for my fans, and yeah, I try to be grateful and try to remember those things, especially when times feel tough. Uh, and focus on the things that mean a lot to me. And but yeah, family and friends always come first, and I am grateful for some of the risks I've taken, um, and the people that are out there that support my work. So that's what I'm grateful for.
Very nice. And you made a fan in me.
Oh, thank you.
I want to check out your books. They sound very cool. So I'll have to get into that. If me being introduced into you, what book should I go for?
Well, what kind of stuff do you like in terms of mystery thrillers?
Psychological thrillers.
Psychological
Having to
thrillers.
think.
So I have a book called Pain Diary. It's about a young woman who sells people's secrets, and uh, and she's diagnosed with a brain disease that could be terminal. And she's very young. She's only in her early 20s. And then she goes on a hunt to find her biological mother, and everything she learns is just terrible. And so that's probably closest to psychological thriller I have so far. Pain Diary.
Pain Diary. I'll
Wow,
have to
that's
check
quite
that
a
one out.
name too.
Yeah.
Definitely. I'll definitely have to check that out. All right. Well, before we go, is there anything you wish to share with our viewers about how they can get in contact with you, find out more about your books, and get educated on upcoming releases?
Sure. So I have a website. It's keithmccabeauthor.com. Um, and you've typed my name in Google. I'm usually top 3 or 4. I'm on Facebook. I believe it's Keith McCabe on Facebook and Instagram, and I post reels sometimes, and I post frequently about upcoming releases. I'm finishing the second draft of my current book right now. I haven't released the title yet, and so I'll be starting to make some updates about that soon. Um, and it might be the start of a new series, which I'm excited about. So the website, keithmccabeauthor.com, Facebook, Instagram, Keith McCabe. Um, I think that's about it.
Very nice. Well, for somebody who didn't want to start a series, you're now starting a different
Yeah,
series. It's kind
no,
of cool, man.
yeah, I'm a huge hypocrite. Yeah.
That's not hypocritical. That's growth, evolution, man. Don't
I
be
Right.
like that
negative
better.
about it.
It's growth.
Yes.
Exactly. When it comes to books, that's what you want. You want to be invested in characters. You don't
Yeah,
want it to just
exactly.
be. You want it to go further and things like that. Well, Keith, it's been a privilege having you on. This is
Oh,
one of the
thank you so
funnest
much.
episodes, man. We had a
I'm
lot
honored
of
to be
laughs today.
here. It was awesome
Uh-huh.
to meet you and Susan. Yeah, when you reached out, I was just super excited, and I've been talking nonstop to everybody with an earshot that I'm going to be on a podcast. So I
Nice,
was really excited about it.
very nice.
Yeah,
And then
well, we're really happy to have you.
Oh, thank you.
definitely. So I'm going to put you in the green room there for a little
Okay.
while. We're going to wrap up the show, and then we'll talk after.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Mhm.
Thank you. That was fun.
Yeah.
That was
Well, it's
very
always
fun.
fun. Tell me one of our podcasts that was not fun.
That's
Which
a good
one?
point. That's a good point. We've always had fun.
Yeah.
We have good chemistry back and forth with each other.
Yeah.
Right?
And
We always bring on the funnest people. And
yeah, and people say they have a good time. Everybody says that. So
agree.
They're all
We're
good.
fun people. We're fun
we're
people.
fun people. And all of the episodes have been really good. I don't think we've had one that was bad yet.
I agree. Well, I want to thank everybody out there for spending your Sunday evening with us. Be sure to tune in next week. We're going to bring on another author and have some more fun. I almost said funner right there as an author.
It'll be funner. Yeah, it'll even be funner.
More fun.
Okay.
Have a wonderful week out there. Stay safe and enjoy the ending of September and the coming of October and the start of spooky season. Enjoy your pumpkin spice lattes out there. And we'll see you back next week for another episode of Shine with Curiosity and Encouragement. Do you want to send us off with anything, Susan?
Bye.
Bye. Oh, come on. I do it up for you. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Get us out there. We need more subscribers.
Yeah,
and if
for
you,
sure. Subscribing. Yeah, subscribers. We need you. And we're going to be fun every single time. You're going to love it. So
Absolutely.
You don't want to miss any episodes.
We bring our A game every single week.
Yes, we do.
All right, everybody. Thanks again and have a wonderful week. Bye.
Bye.
Ever dreamed of seeing your name on the cover of a book? As a book publisher, we understand the challenges of self-publishing. If you're lost in the process, wondering about illustrators, book coaches, or formatting issues, worry not. At Soul Sunshine, we're here to guide you. Let's turn your dream into reality. Contact us to get started.